A warm welcome. This is Nationwide and we are live on Africa's largest TV network, the NTA. I'm Rhoda Anonam. Thank you for joining us. We'll begin Nationwide with the President's meeting with stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress as President Muhammadu Buhari has formally broken his silence on some misconceptions and misinterpretations in some quarters regarding his actions or inactions on critical national issues. Addressing the leadership and other stakeholders of the governing APC, the President emphasized that he has seen a lot in life to dispassionately disabuse his mind about religion and ethnicity. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has got more details.
President Muhammadu Buhari may have been reacting to the negative insinuation in some quarters that there are elements of bias in the way and manner his administration has been handling the affairs of the country.
Don't allow anybody to bring that. It's not true, they don't mean it.
He told the party's stalwarts, including his co-contestant for the APC presidential ticket in the build-up to the 2015 elections, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, that he is not only fully aware of the problems of this country, but genuinely addressing them to the best of his ability without fear or favor. President Buhari described as not only unfair, but diversionary for his administration to be accused of being carefree or lackadaisical on matters critical to the unity, stability, growth and development of the country.
Really, I have gone through it over and over again. I will sit and reflect and continue to have my clear conscience.
The president appealed to the APC chieftains and other well-meaning Nigerians to help in enlightening their followers and the society on the good intentions of the government for a better Nigeria as a matter of national duty.
You are with the people more than myself now, having been locked up here. If I don't call you, it's not because for a moment I ever forgot how you supported me at one stage or the other over the years from 2003 to now.
The national chairman of the APC, John Odigio Yegun, and others spoken to described the president's remarks as thought-provoking and reassuring.
I must say I was very touched by what you have had to say. It's almost like an impassioned explanation to people that, look, I am not an ethnic jingoist. We are firmly, totally, completely behind you.
For me, I will support the president against any other candidate, no matter who the candidate is, even if it's my brother. I have made up my mind to do that, and I'm committed in doing that.
I have seen the Buhari that I've always believed in. Straight, honest, very deeply honest. Even those who may hold any extreme view about him or about what he had done or not done, got completely disarmed. I more than appreciate him. And it's a new resolve, it's a new commitment to the cause of this country, no matter the cost. Nigeria deserves the best.
All the 6 geopolitical zones of the country were represented at the meeting with the president. From the State House, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
Members of the Buhari campaign organization have described President Muhammadu Buhari as a leader who deserves more support from individuals and corporate organizations to enable them continue the good work he is doing in the interests of the people and the country. This was at a forum by coordinators of the campaign group from across the country and beyond, who converged on Abuja for a strategic meeting ahead of the 2019 election. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
The official release of the timetable for 2019 general elections by INEC has continued to raise the consciousness of many, especially the politicians, who also sees the year 2018 as a gateway to elections. This meeting by members of the Buhari campaign organization, therefore, is part of strategies to harness support from relevant stakeholders to work for the success of the All Progressives Congress, APC.
We want a nation that is peaceful, and the only way we can have is to have one focus.
It's normal in every system. There must be some little challenges, and we know that the government has overcome the challenges.
Members say achievements of the present administration are in line with that of the nation's great leaders, whose vision is to collectively lift the nation to a greater height, irrespective of differences in tribes and religions.
What we did today is to celebrate the successes recorded by Mr. President and his administration, and also to review the challenges.
And we need to give Buhari time, and if you can see how God is on his side all the time, he always rescues the country.
Buhari campaign organization has launched a political slogan known as Buhari Phase 2 2019 while seeking for his re-election. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA.
Now, former members of the House of Representatives are rallying support for President Muhammadu Buhari to deliver on the campaign promises and ensure the success of the All Progressives Congress in the 2019 general election. Salihu Suleiman Yaji reports that former members converged in Abuja to strategize on the way forward.
There was a time reactions like this signified a rowdy session in plenary on the floor of a parliament. But this particular gathering is that of former legislators united in their desire to consolidate on the gains made by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. This they intend doing through the promotion of good governance. Minister of Transportation, who was once a former speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly before becoming governor, stated that the federal government is committed to enhancing the fortunes of Nigerians.
The way we were doing from Lagos to Ibadan is a 3-year contract, but because of the expectation of society, we are compelling the contractor to complete it in 1 year, 6 months.
The party faithful were reminded that hard work pays, reiterating the need for them to work tirelessly for the success of the APC.
So you don't need to think twice about where to go. This is your house. APC is your house.
We will continue as serving members to give them the needed support, the desired intervention to help them fly.
In fact, it's just to bring the country together, because National Assembly is Nigeria. Representation from each nook and cranny of the country to come and discuss not just APC, but to discuss unity.
In attendance were former members of the House of Representatives in the Second and Third Republics. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
The Acting Director Defense Information, Brigadier General John Agim, says the media should support the military's efforts in safeguarding the nation's unity and security through credible and effective reportage. Brigadier General Agim said this during an interactive session with journalists in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
Just like other developed and developing nations, Nigeria is experiencing some internal security challenges. Records from the defense headquarters show that the military, Nigeria's symbol of strength, sovereignty and unity, has lived up to expectation by countering these socio-economic threats through various operations and standby forces across the country. The media, the Acting Director of Defense Information, noted that should play its role through positive enlightenment of the public on successes recorded devoid of sensationalism.
In insurgency and terrorism fights, before they conceived the idea and begin to fight, they have a very robust media. Why? Because publicity is the fuel for the ideology. If you report everything that they are doing, you are just doing what they want.
In a similar development, the new Commander Gas Brigade, Brigadier General Umar Musa, has assumed office as the 38th Commander. He took over from Major General Musa Yusuf. who is now the GOC 6th Division Port Harcourt. Prior to his new appointment, he was the Director, Recruitment at the Army Headquarters, Abuja. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Alumni Association of the National Institute has commended efforts by the federal government towards finding lasting solutions to the pockets of conflict in some parts of the country. President of the association, Khalil Bolaji, stated this while briefing newsmen in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
Concerned by the incessant conflicts between nomadic herders and sedentary farmers in some parts of the country, the association is of the view that parties involved in the conflict should restrain and avoid any action or statements capable of escalating the situation, which the federal government has already brought under control. The association, however, condemned in strong terms the killings and destruction of property under the guise of the conflict.
The association noted with delight the setting up of committee under the chairmanship of the Vice President to work out solutions to this crisis. That there are several researches conducted at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies aimed at resolving conflicts. That the federal government committee should engage NIPS, that is, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, and the Alumni Association in finding lasting solutions to this problem.
The Code on Security Agencies to be alive to its responsibilities not only in proactive protection of lives and property, but also in bringing to book the perpetrators of the dastardly act. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The Abia State Police Commissioner, Anthony Ogbizi, has urged the affected individuals in the current feud between farmers and herdsmen in Isiadu community in Umuahia North local government area, a suburb of the capital city of Abia State, to remain calm and peaceful. The police boss said the law must take its course after investigation of the remote cause of the conflict. Dennis Temple tells us more.
The appeal was sequel to the alleged invadence of the Isiadu Ibeku community farmland by cattle rearers in the area. The police commissioner said there is no cause for alarm. He observed that the Peace and Conflict Resolution Committee set up by his command was readily on ground to address seeming cases of conflict between farmers and herdsmen in Abia State.
And they will be working around the clock, and wherever there is there are areas of seeming conflicts. We get in, the farmers, the herdsmen, they come together, they have it resolved.
The spokesperson of the farmers group implored government to address the farmers-herdsmen relationship in order to stop further destruction of crops and, in most cases, loss of life.
Our children are going to starve for the entire year because we don't have no more farm output. All our farm output have been destroyed by the Fulani herdsmen. That's what I need to tell the government.
About 400 hectares of land cultivated and crops worth several millions of naira destroyed. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Rising from its first General Assembly, an inter-religious body known as Interfaith Dialogue for Peace has expressed displeasure over what it called politicization of Nigerian citizens under the guise of ethnicity and religion. In a communique, the Interfaith Dialogue for Peace resolved that henceforth religious leaders and institutions should collectively condemn evil acts committed in the country without aligning themselves with identities of the perpetrators or victims.
That any Nigerian life that is lost must be seen as a Nigerian without reference to their religious or ethnic identity.
100 participants drawn from religious and traditional institutions attended the General Assembly in Abuja. The Petroleum Industry Bill is arguably the oldest piece of legislation on the legislative bill at the National Assembly, introduced to the Parliament in 2018. The bill has undergone quite a number of reviews and has witnessed intense debate as the National Assembly passes the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill. Ignatius Nko takes a look at the status of the bill.
The House of Representatives on Wednesday considered and approved a part of that petroleum industry bill, that is, the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill already passed by the Senate in 2017. The Petroleum Industry Governance Bill provides for the governance and institutional framework for the petroleum industry in Nigeria. Unbundled the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), provides for the establishment of the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Incorporated, Nigerian Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Nigerian Petroleum Assets Management Company, and the National Petroleum Company and the Petroleum Equalization Fund.
The Petroleum Industry Governance Bill. The governance bill is about the framework, establishing the institutions, the infrastructure of the governing process of the petroleum industry in Nigeria. This is, of course, in tandem with the global practices, global best practices.
As National Assembly passes the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, the next stage is presidential assent.
It has been passed. This is a bill that you can consider a law because the Senate has passed and we have also passed by concurring without any disagreement with them. So it's a very strong bill. The next stage is for the president, is for us to transmit this legislation to the president for assent. It is a law that will really create an enabling environment and attract even foreign investors to come and operate with 100% assurances.
The legislators will now continue with the consideration of the remaining 3 other petroleum industry bills from the National Assembly. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Downstream has expressed dissatisfaction with the 2017 budget implementation leveled by the Petroleum Products Price and Regulatory Agency. Committee Chairman Akinlaju Joseph made this remark during an oversight on the agency's performance. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The Petroleum Products Price Regulatory Agency has mandate of regulating supply of petroleum products and make realistic decision on their pricing policy. Executive Secretary of the agency, Abdul Qadir Said, said the agency's 2017 capital appropriation stands at 1.3 billion naira, out of which 665 million naira was released. Some of the projects contained in the budget include development of framework for validation of petroleum product supply and institutional capacity building for monitoring of imported cargo into the depots.
The remaining balance of about 560 million was only received after Christmas.
The committee members were concerned about the low implementation level of both capital and overhead expenditure of the agency.
To whom are these contracts awarded so that we can inspect it to ensure that it does not become abandoned project like it has happened in the past.
The committee asks for details of the returning 2.1 million naira of the overhead by the agency into the Federation account, despite the low level of its implementation at 58%. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
The Ogun State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has assured residents of Abeokuta and environs of its readiness to work with the task force set up by the state government to put an end to the fuel scarcity in the state within 2 days. The State Commandant Phillips Oladele gave this assurance while speaking to journalist Anthony Gandonu reports.
The fuel situation in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, has become worrisome and a serious concern to residents. This informed the decision of the state government to set up a task force to interface with stakeholders, particularly the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the independent marketers of the product to address the crisis. The Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Commander Olushola Oladele, assured residents that steps have been taken to wipe out long queues and log jams at filling stations, adding that regular supply will be restored within 48 hours.
Give the government 2 days. Give kudos to the governor. It's really doing hard to ensure that petroleum products are circulated and are distributed to designated areas and filling stations.
Commander Oladele also reminded the public that one of the core mandates of the NSCDC is to provide security for federal government facilities.
to protect the critical infrastructures of the state, the economy and the country. You know, we have security here, and the security we have here, we'll try to make sure that we improve on the security area.
The commandant and his officers were later taken on facility tour of NTA Abeokuta premises to see how they can further assist in providing adequate security for the station's facilities.
The Ministry of Environment has defended its 2018 budget before the House of Representatives Committee on Environment. Minister of State Environment Ibrahim Usman Jibri, after presenting the 2017 budget performance, explained that out of the 27.3 billion naira allocation for 2018, 9.5 billion naira is for capital expenditure.
Here, a total of 196 capital projects located in various states of the 6 geopolitical zones and the FCT were proposed for implementation by the ministry. And they are as follows: were 112 projects by the main ministry and a total of 4.8 billion. On the way forward for this 2018, we intend to implement the National Determined Contribution sector roadmaps in order to address climate change related issues.
We haven't up to this moment seen any project that has to do with new map, especially as concerns the counterpart funding from the federal government. And I think that should be explained, how much funds the federal government has put into it, or the Ministry of Environment, what projects have they done, where are the project sites.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We have more news after these breaks. Stay with us.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There is no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Does it mean you are in paid employment if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend?
A boyfriend that cannot put his girlfriend on a weekly or monthly allowance. Is that one a boyfriend?
Is a relationship a job and you must get paid?
I might be needing like 20 to 25k.
I transferred 15,000 naira for you some days ago.
Your rib-cracking comedy, Professor John Bull, takes a detailed look at this trend in this episode titled Meal Tickets.
In our days, we enjoyed courtly love, not cupboard love.
Exactly.
Now you keep quiet, young man.
An episode that comically explodes the myths and misconceptions surrounding relationships and defines the employers as well as the employees in this unusual job situation.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow,
the largest data network. Glow Unlimited.
Thank you so much for inspiring greatness in me, Alaji.
Alaji?
I am just rehearsing, dear.
Rehearsing for what?
A life-changing and inspiring meeting.
With who?
Alhaji Aliko Dangote.
With the FGNI app and just 500 naira, you stand a chance to meet one-on-one with Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, and win cash prizes. As the Be Inspired meetings give Nigerians a chance to meet one-on-one with icons. To qualify for the draw, Download FGNI app from Apple Store or Google Play Store. Go to the Be Inspired section and follow the instructions. Cost of travel and accommodation of all winners within Nigeria will be borne by the organizers. Terms and conditions apply.
Proudly supported by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Nationwide on the NTA. The Ministry of Defense says it is committed to ensuring troops and their families attain optimum health. Director General of Defense Health Implementation Program, Brigadier General Nuruddin Hussaini, stated this at the opening session of the Site Commanders and Site Team Leaders meeting in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
Established to curtail the scourge of HIV/AIDS amongst troops, their families and civil population around the barracks, the Ministry of Defense Health Implementation Program and U.S. Department of Defense Walter Reed Program said they have recorded success in the area of capacity development and laboratory upgrade of 46 military health facilities to cater for the over 29,000 people living with HIV/AIDS.
Let us integrate all the services. There's nothing like HIV clients. We have people that are hypertensive, that are diabetic, and we still deal with them. It's possible for us to run our clinic in such a way that nobody knows which person has HIV and which person does not have. It really helps us a lot.
We have 76 further outreach sites for the prevention of mother-to-child transmission to try to ensure that when women do get pregnant, that their children do not acquire HIV through pregnancy.
The biannual meeting provides avenue for commanders to present their briefs on the site's activities and program review. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
As the wave of change blows through the nation's civil service through the various reforms to revitalize the service, the Nigerian Police Force is collaborating with Sevicom to deliver its mandate in line with the executive order of the ease of doing business. Ronke Kolarole reports that this was the focus of a one-day capacity building organized by the Nigerian Police Force for focal officers for its 12 zonal command headquarters and 37 commands, including that of the Federal Capital Territory.
The Nigeria Police Force is the major security agency saddled with the responsibility of ensuring internal security, which is key to attracting foreign investors and making local investment thrive. Since the quality of governance is determined by the quality of service delivered to the citizens, the National Coordinator Sevicom Office in the Presidency, Mrs. Nnenna Kajemeli, is of the view that the Nigeria Police Force is making efforts to improve on timely and effective service. She said the expectation from Sevicom now is for the police force to create more enabling environment for economic drive.
What are we saying here? We need to realize that when we have set standards, we should begin to render the service. The police service should be rendered in such a manner that people know what to expect at every point of their service delivery experience.
The representative of the Inspector General of Police said, since the launch of the new reform by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, the force has improved on internal movement of goods.
Focal persons are being sensitized today to ensure accountability within your various commands by checking conduct of your men, thereby ensuring enabling business environment for the citizens.
The emphasis is removal of roadblocks, and everything must be done to stop extortion, to make it easy for people to go about their business with ease.
Sevicom Compliance Evaluation Report was officially presented to the Nigeria Police Force with an appeal to the leadership to implement the recommendations. Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
Some members of the People's Democratic Party, including some lawmakers, have crossed over to the All Progressives Congress, APC, at a mega rally in Benin, the Edo State capital. Receiving the new members to the APC, top party leaders in the state, including Governor Godwin Obaseki and his predecessor, Comrade Adams Oshomole, assured the new members of equal opportunities.
Make we receive them.
Yes, so very important.
Once they join us, they'll be the same as us. They can contest even our local government election when they come under APC. So now know,
as a symbol of our strength, as they say, with one broom you can cut it. We banded together, you cannot. So may this broom strengthen our party in our state and in our country. So that come 2019, we will sweep to victory together. Amen.
The new members say they are convinced by the developmental strides witnessed in Edo State during the reign of the All Progressives Congress and would like it to continue. The governorship candidate of the Alliance for Democracy in the 2016 governorship election in Ondo State, Olushola Oke, has led other members of the AD back to the All Progressives Congress APC. The returnees were received by Governor Oluwa Rotimi Akeredolu and the state chairman of the party, Adetime in Akure. Doris Olumoko has the details.
Chief Olushola Oke was one of the governorship aspirants aggrieved with the outcome of the APC primary election in 2016 and left for the Alliance for Democracy AD. However, the story has changed now as Chief Oke, with all his supporters in the Alliance for Democracy, decided to return to the APC to contribute his wealth of knowledge and add value to governance in Ondo State.
Upon our admission today, we cease to be members of AD. We become members of APC, and our loyalty, our commitment, everything in us, we must give to APC.
I can assure you that you will be accorded all the necessary opportunity and full respect as full members of our party in the state.
There is room for many and more. Come on board.
Other governorship candidates of some political parties also defected to the APC at the ceremony and pledged to work for the victory of the party in the 2019 general elections. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
The need for strict regulations and thorough scrutiny of political associations by INEC to avoid duplication of ideology, especially at the pre-registration stage, has been emphasized. Guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, who stated this, noted that it could help streamline political parties and reduce the financial burden on government to fund the parties. Mutari Igben has more details.
In the build-up to the 2019 general elections, the floodgate of political participation was opened by the Independent National Electoral Commission with the registration of 21 new political parties, which, in addition to the existing 47, increased the number of political parties to 68. The multiplicity of parties ought to be multiple options for Nigerians, but political antecedents reveal a drift towards two major parties at the general elections, coupled with issues of national spread, viability and sustainability of new political parties. The tone of discussions on NTA Good Morning Nigeria was predicated, among other things, on the financial burden placed on government to fund the parties.
I do not necessarily agree to the fact that with this multiplicity of political parties, government should still concern itself with financing them. That's not sustainable.
And because you insist that parties are national, they can provide on paper, evidence of existence all over the country. But in reality, in terms of the size of their membership, there's nothing to show that they are really national parties.
We need to open up this space and give opportunities to other political parties and encourage participation into the polity so that people can be able to ventilate their own position.
Guests also argued that more parties should translate to increased voter education at the grassroots towards eliminating voter apathy.
There is a challenge of understanding the several political parties at the grassroots.
Why is it so?
Because there is very poor voter education.
We need to go back to make politics in this country really a contest of ideas.
The youth were encouraged to drive the change they want to see through massive political participation. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Now, as the political atmosphere is becoming active daily, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has stressed the need to assist journalists to do their work as professionally as possible, especially as the nation approaches another election year. The governor made the observation while interacting with the leadership of Media Trust publishers of Daily Trust newspaper in Abuja. The governor says partnership between media and government is crucial in a democratic society like Nigeria and challenged leaders to engender an environment that encourages freedom of the press.
We as a government, we see certain things that are not palatable, and sometimes we see things that are okay. But we too, who have been in the game for long, we know that is how it should be, because we benefit from the other side that you are referring to. Because sometimes we make mistakes and we need people to tell us that we are making mistakes. We need people to tell us the truth. So don't think that when you have such unpalatable piece of information that we are uncomfortable. No, to me I'm comfortable.
They acknowledged that the influx of social media as a challenge affecting the quality of news being injected to the society, but encouraged the conventional media to sustain the passion by remaining resolute in building a strong democratic Nigeria. History was made in Owerri as delegates of traditional rulers from the 27 local government areas of Imo State elected Eze Agwai Samuel Ohiri as chairman of the Council of Ndieze in Imo State. Prior to this time, the position was attained through appointment. Lorita Arinze Egwim reports.
81 delegates made up of 3 delegates from each local government of the state voted at the election conducted in an open secret ballot system. Out of the 3 contestants for chairmanship position, the incumbent chairman of the council, the Obi of Orodo in Bitolu local government area of the state, Eze Samuel Ohiri, emerged winner with 59 votes against his close rival, Eze Chidume Okoro, who got 19 votes, while Eze Chijoke Ogwara Eshiofunkwere emerged the deputy chairman with 40 votes out of the 5 contestants for deputy position.
I want to promise that I'll continue to do what is right, to pilot the affairs of the Council of Traditional Rulers in Imo State very well.
Reverend Professor Jerome Okonkwo was the returning officer. Some observers, including the Commissioner for Information, Professor Nnamdi Obereri, and his Community Government Council counterpart, Louis Duru, speak.
I'm sure that it was transparent, it was open, it was credible, and the outcome is respected.
We urge him, or we want him to continue in what he's doing.
Eze Samuel Ohiri has been the chairman of the council on appointment since the inception of Governor Rochas Okorocha. He is to handle the mantle of leadership of the council of Ndiezimo for a period of 5 years. In Owerri, Lorita Arinze Egwim, NTA News.
The 12 weeks intervention program by the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, as directed by the federal government, has been fully complied with through reinstatement of filled sections and channelization of upstream culverts along Numan Giyak Road bordering Borno State. Ladi Bala reports that the project provided job opportunity for members of benefiting communities, with motorists heaving a sigh of relief.
Worried over the deplorable nature of most federal roads across the country and the determination to change the narrative prompted the presidency to adopt strategic and specific intervention projects through the Federal Road Maintenance Agency across the country. Under the 12 weeks intervention program by Federal Road Maintenance Agency in Adamawa State, reinstatement of failed and washed out sections, patching of potholes of about 530 square meters, as well as channelization of upstream culverts along Numan Guyuk Road have all reached advanced stages of completion. When NTA News visited the sites, FEMA officials and workers were seen busy working to change the face of affected roads. Commenting on the pace of work, the Federal Road Maintenance Engineer, Adamawa State, Engineer Baron Erikefe, applauded the commitment of the presidency to the project.
We've also carried out retaining wall
construction which has been done, and we're also filling up to the point of trying to do our stumpation. Because the president is fully committed to make all federal roads to be motorable and better for all Nigerians. So 2018 will be the year for infrastructure.
He said 48 kilometers vegetation control and desilting of blocked drains along Gombe-Garkida Road have been completed under the program. A cross-section of motorists spoken to commended the quality of job and the intervention.
Anything that I will say, I thank God for what I saw in this area. I'm very grateful.
In Yola, Ladibala, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide, and for more reports now, we'll join Femichit, who is in our Jos Network Center, and she'll bring us up to date on news making the rounds over there. Femichit, it's over to you.
Hello and welcome to Jos. Bauchi State Governor has reiterated its commitment towards improving the welfare of people with disability in the state. Governor Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar made the commitment while presenting 40 wheelchairs to some physically challenged persons in the state. Abbas Mekano completes the report.
Represented by his deputy engineer Nuhu Gidadu, the governor said the gesture is part of deliberate effort by the present administration in the state to empower people with disability. The governor, who described catering for the physically challenged persons as a collective responsibility, called on wealthy individuals and corporate organizations to complement government effort in assisting them. He charged beneficiaries to make good use of the wheelchairs and pray for the state government to succeed in the implementation of its people's-oriented policies and programs.
It is also in line with the present administration's inclusiveness in governance and in promoting sustainable livelihood amongst its citizens.
Earlier, Overseeing Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Social Welfare, Johannes Simon, commended the present administration in the state for prioritizing the welfare of physically challenged persons. In his remark, leader of the physically challenged person in Bauchi, Alhaji Ali Abdullahi Shango, thanked the state government for the gesture and appealed for sponsoring the education of their children to discourage them from begging. In Bauchi, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Bauchi State Committee on Administration of Justice has released 14 prison inmates from the 4 prisons in the state. Chairperson of the committee, who is also the state's chief judge, Justice Rabi Talatu Umar, was at the Bauchi Central Prison where she addressed inmates. Again, Abbas Mekano completes the report.
Justice Rabi Umar said the beneficiaries of the gesture were released from Azare, Misau, Jamaare and Ningi prisons. According to her, the measure is part of effort by the present administration in the state to decongest the prisons, adding that the exercise will be a continuous one. The chairperson of the committee added that the beneficiaries of the gesture were released on the ground of being minor and first-time offenders as well as other humanitarian considerations. She expressed dismay over the condition of some of the inmates who spent 3 years and above without being charged to court due to lack of advice from the State Ministry of Justice, adding that the committee will meet with the ministry to address their cases.
What we discovered here in Bauchi is that their case diary were duplicated and sent to Ministry of Justice. Some date back to 2014, 2015.
The chairperson of the committee commended State Governor for giving the committee the needed support to perform its function, which according to her facilitated the achievement it has recorded. She charged the released inmate to be of good behavior by avoiding committing any offense that could send them back to prison. Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has been commended for his administration's approach towards addressing the issue of corruption and financial mismanagement, which experts say contributes in promoting the good image of the country. This formed part of the opinion of experts in various fields while assessing the performance of the present administration in the fight against corruption. Abba Abubakar Yakubu has details.
One of the campaign promises of the present administration is to fight corruption and all forms of financial recklessness in order to restore the country back on the track of economic growth. To achieve this, the administration introduced some policies to checkmate financial mismanagement and ease government control on money transactions.
At the beginning, there was the focus on arrest, on hoping to get people to pay for the crime of corruption through the criminal process. But by last year, you find that several strategies have been evolved.
Our problem is ignorance, because if we know what to do, we will know what to tackle, and there will not be issue of corruption. But because largely the posture and the personality of the president we have today is that of integrity, that has naturally endeared him to people, and he's on board.
One thing they have in common is the trust that they have on the intention of the president to use all the resources at his disposal and his political will to free Nigeria from corruption.
There should be a swift reaction in terms of setting up panel.
Need to go further. Apart from just sacking them, then the law need to take its course. Nigerians need to see people not just being sacked, but taken to court and given the appropriate sanction.
The experts were unanimous in their call on the citizens to join hands to ensure a corrupt-free Nigeria. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
And that does it from this end. Rather, it's back to you for more news.
Femi Chit for us there from our Just Network Center. Thank you so much. Patients and staff of the Federal Medical Center, KEFI, as well as residents of towns have been told not to panic as various health centers are now on alert and capable of managing any case of Lassa fever. This notification was coming after a suspected case of Lassa fever was discovered at the Federal Medical Center, KEFI. Suleiman Ovi Musa has details.
Lassa fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic illness caused by Lassa virus. It is transmitted to humans from contact with food or household items contaminated with rodent excreta. Some states and health facilities in Nigeria have experienced cases of Lassa fever. Federal Medical Center KEFI alone have discovered 3 cases of suspected Lassa fever this year, including the recent one which caused panic in the health center.
Actually, it's a suspected case of Lassa fever, and we have taken samples to Erua for confirmation. So we are yet to receive the confirmation.
Management of the health center maintain that they are capable of handling cases of Lassa fever patients.
We have the PPE, that is the personal protective equipment, available in the hospital. We have the drugs now, both the tablets and the injection.
This is Accident and Emergency Unit of Federal Medical Center KEFI. The unit is very busy with patients and patients' relatives, but as you can see, the place now has been deserted for fear of coming in contact with Lassa fever, as a suspected patient of Lassa fever was being admitted in this unit. From KEFI, Suleiman Ove Musa, NTA News.
And for an update on the Lassa fever outbreak in Abakaliki, we'll now join Chinyere, who's our guide over there. Chinyere, you're on.
Thank you, Rhoda, and welcome to Enugu. Thank you, Rhoda. Following the outbreak of Lassa fever in neighboring Ebonyi State, which resulted in casualties, a 23-man committee has been set up by the Enugu State government to prevent the spread of the disease in the state. Amaka O has details of this report.
The recent outbreak of Lassa fever in Ebonyi State resulted to the death of 2 medical doctors and a nurse, with a house officer currently in critical.
We seem to be having some issues there with our audio from our Enugu Network Center, but before the news is over, we'll see if we can go back there. But for now, we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you some news in forensic and sports.
NTA TV College Jos, an affiliate of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, is organizing a 1-month short course on online news reporting. The course is scheduled for 5th February to 16th March 2018 at the NTA TV College premises, Refueled, Jos. The cost for workshop is 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. This course will be targeting professional journalists and those wishing to pursue courses in this field. The course will be teaching participants the facts of using mobile phone cameras and digital cameras to generate reports, and how these news stories, photos and videos can be produced or even published straight from the field, making the news production process faster and more efficient. Take advantage of this opportunity. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be. For inquiries, contact the academic office on 0806 908 9807, 0816 956 1843.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, if they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy, may they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The time has come for Nigeria to take her rightful place in world sports with the first national grassroots sports festival to discover and prepare sport talent and develop future world champions for Nigeria. The festival date is 3rd to 10th March 2018. Venue is the National Stadium, Abuja, packages A and B. This is the opportunity for you to promote your brand through the festival. For broadcast sponsorship, which include live broadcasts, highlight shows, and TV fans show, contact the Chairman, Chief Coordinator, Angelo Peter I. Elosia, or Nick Onyishi. Organizers, Grassroots International Sports Academy and LOP Worldwide Television. Endorsed by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. Broadcast partner, NTA.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is Nationwide. Now we'll rejoin our Enugu Network Center as we get an update on the Lassa fever outbreak in Abakaliki.
Following the outbreak of Lassa fever in neighboring Ebonyi State, which resulted in casualties, a 23-man committee has been set up by the Enugu State government to prevent the spread of the disease in the state. Amaka O has details of the...
Well, sorry, we'll still have to come back to our Abuja Network Center. We can't take our Enugu Network Center anymore. We seem to be having some audio challenges there. But moving on, the Imo State Governor, Rochas Okoroche, has asked the 24 Imo citizens to return from Libya to discourage other Nigerians seeking greener pastures in African countries, especially Libya. The governor stated this when he received them in Owerri. Lorita Arinze Agwem reports.
Receiving the deportees on behalf of the governor, the Supervisory Commissioner for Happiness and Purpose Fulfillment, Ogechi Ololo, expressed her displeasure over the way the returnees were forced into slavery in their search for greener pasture, and joined them not to be demoralized, as the state government has put machineries on ground to rehabilitate them in skills.
We are creating what we call career center and mentorship, where we are going to educate our youth, teach them about leadership, about passion, what they can do within even where they are and achieve the same purpose. So that's the plan, and we also want to train them in their careers where we work with employers.
Some of the returnees narrated their ordeal.
We are being treated like slaves because don't exist. So I'm giving all the knowledge to them because first nowhere want me to stay, but that place they are using us as a slave. Even some get that place when you see what human beings they are doing, they are selling people.
The deportees are 12 males, 12 females, and 3 children. From Owerri, Lorita Arinze Agwem, NTA News.
Now, in foreign news, United States government operations risk shutdown for lack of funding as House of Representatives moves to avert crisis. Ilyasu Ali Yakub brings us details.
The United States House of Representatives has passed a bill to fund government operations until 16th February, the first move in an effort to avert a government shutdown. Reports say the bill must now be voted on by the Senate, where it faces an uncertain future. The Republicans do not have enough votes and need help from the Democrats to pass the bill ahead of the Friday midnight deadline. Republicans leaders who need some support from the Democrats also face resistance from their rank-and-file conservatives who are demanding more military spending. An inlet cooling up the Leesburg River Valley as far as Pinelands, with Cape Town harbour entirely submerged with flooding along the peninsula. This is the magnitude of sea level rise that scientists anticipate in Cape Town if current carbon emission rates continue until the end of this century. Alarming projections by Climate Central and international climate change research and advocacy groups show that approximately 1 million South Africans live in areas that will be inundated by rising seas as the climate warms.
We're now joined Tamara Ibiye for details in the world of sports.
Nigeria retained her 51st position in the January